You didn't realize it, but David Tennant's doctor who took on the Rani way before her. By generation, leave Rose alone. The unspoken chapter of the 10th Doctor's life begins in green shadows. Before the god of death, before the toymaker's game, there was a secret garden of nightmares blooming on Earth. And the Doctor walked into it without realizing history was catching up with him. The 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler arrive in what looks like a peaceful greenhouse on an abandoned Earth colony. The plants are alive, not in the usual way, but watching, moving, growing faster the more they speak. Rose laughs nervously, brushing it off. But the Doctor's smile is strained. Something feels wrong. For a Time Lord who believes he's the last of his kind, every new alien encounter brings the same subtle ache, the grief of old wars, old friends, old betrayals. But this isn't new. It's familiar, intimately so. He knows this signature, the scent of cruel genius in the air, the silence that hums with ego. Behind a curtain of carnivorous vines, a figure in Gallifreyan robes whispers to a fern, "Grow stronger, little one. Today, we reclaim our roots." It's her, the Rani, and she knows he's here, the Rani's evolution, no longer just a villain, but a mirror. She doesn't arrive with screams or destruction. She arrives with logic and calm, and a scalpel. The Doctor confronts her in a sun-drenched lab surrounded by mutated orchids. She barely flinches. "You're late," she says, not turning to face him. "The pollen's already seeded the clouds." Rose steps back. The Doctor's eyes harden. Unlike the Master, the Rani doesn't want to rule. She wants to understand. And that terrifies the Doctor more than any tyrant. Because understanding, without empathy, is how Gallifrey fell. She represents the Time Lords at their worst. Brilliant, blind, and emotionally dead. "You were always too emotional," she says, studying him like a test subject. "That's why you ran. Why you failed Gallifrey. Why you fail her." Her glance at Rose is surgical, and surgical is the word for what she might do. She lifts a petal, and it grows into a human hand. "Shall I show you what empathy looks like after a little improvement?" Rose becomes the target, and the trigger. The Rani never wastes a resource. Rose Tyler is no exception. The Rani invites Rose for tea. It's not a joke, it's an experiment. They sit across from each other while genetically enhanced thorns grow in spirals around their chairs. The Doctor watches, unable to act. The room's quantum architecture reacts violently to emotional energy. Rose, brave but untrained, doesn't know she's being dissected. Not physically, but psychologically. "Tell me, Rose," the Rani coos, "does he dream of Gallifrey? Or of you?" Rose clenches her jaw, but there's a flicker of fear. The Rani sees it, exploits it. The Doctor isn't angry, he's terrified, because he remembers how the Rani worked, how she turned fear into data, love into leverage, and history into weapons. The plants bloom again, this time with Rose's face. The memory that shouldn't exist. But does there's something the Doctor forgot? Not because he wanted to, because someone made him. Scene. The confrontation escalates. Sonic screwdrivers scream, vines explode into ash, and time fractures. For a moment, the Doctor sees something in her eyes. Recognition. Not of this regeneration. Not of 10. Of all of him. "You don't remember, do you?" she says. "The labs, the void experiments, the pact he freezes. There are fragments, lab coats, screaming stars. A woman in Gallifreyan red, laughing as a child screams in her arms. "What did you do?" he whispers. "I erased your guilt," she replies. "You're welcome." A Gallifreyan memory crystal hums in her hand. Inside, his face. Her face. And someone else's. A face he can't place, but will haunt him until the end of time. Every monster has a home. The Rani was growing hers. As the infected plants swarm a nearby village, the Rani reveals her goal. A new Gallifrey. Not of people, of intellect, of engineered genius. She would repopulate their lost world with evolved flora, spliced with Time Lord DNA. "They won't fight, they won't run, they'll think," she says. "A better species, without emotion, without war, without you." The Doctor recoils. She hasn't changed, she's refined, like a scalpel to the heart of hope. And it cuts deep, because he once agreed with her. Once, long ago, before the war, before the children burned, one of the flowers opens, revealing a clone embryo. It bears the seal of Rassilon, and it's growing fast. The Rani almost wins, until one line shatters her plan. Power obeys logic, but weakness is unpredictable. The doctor activates an ancient failsafe buried in his coat, a piece of the moment, long dormant. It won't destroy her. It will reveal her. The Rani's plants begin screaming in fear, recognizing their creator's true nature. They turn on her. The Rani stares in horror as the doctor says, "You're not their god. You're just another failed experiment." She collapses to her knees. For the first time, she is afraid, not of death, but of irrelevance. As she's pulled into a collapsing reality pocket, she whispers, "You'll forget me again. You always do." And then she vanishes. The real twist. The Rani let herself be caught. What if the villain wanted to lose? Back on the TARDIS, the Doctor finds a data stream in his sonic, something the Rani injected during their final battle. It's a genetic code, but not for plants. For him. He realizes it wasn't a battle, it was a test. She wasn't trying to remake Gallifrey. She was trying to remake him, to rewrite his DNA, to make the next Doctor hers. And the worst part? It's already begun. His reflection flickers, and for just a second, he sees her eyes looking back. The Doctor's worst fear, becoming the Rani's legacy. Some battles are fought in space, others in the bloodstream. The Doctor isolates himself in the TARDIS lab, obsessively scanning his DNA. Rose knocks, worried, but he won't answer. He keeps seeing flashes, impossible memories, equations he didn't know he knew, cruelty he never practiced but now understands perfectly. This isn't just a trick, it's a seed, one the Rani planted to grow slowly inside him. The idea isn't to defeat the Doctor, it's to outlive him, to ensure her legacy flows through his future regenerations. His hands tremble as he whispers to himself, "What if I wake up one day, and I'm her?" He opens a data file she left embedded in his brainwaves. It's titled, "My Last Experiment, You." Why this encounter was erased from Canon, and why it matters. Now history doesn't repeat Doctor Who, it rewrites itself, and some stories were deleted, for a reason. The Doctor, speaking to Rose beneath the stars, admits something he never should. "I don't remember this happening, but I know it did." Rose asks how that's possible. The Doctor pauses, then answers with a weight that chills the moment. "Because I erased it." This wasn't just a victory, it was a wound, a trauma. He deleted the memory to protect the timeline, and maybe himself. But time remembers. And now, with her return in the Interstellar Song Contest, the echoes of that lost battle are waking up, in her and in him. Final image, the Doctor staring at his reflection again. A faint Gallifreyan tattoo glows on his neck, one that wasn't there yesterday. She was gone, erased from time, forgotten in ink and flame. But the thing about the Rani? She never needed to win, she just needed to plant the idea. And now, that idea is blooming. Want to know what happens next? Because her return in the newest season isn't the end. It's the beginning of something terrifying. Click here for our deep dive into how the Rani's comeback could rewrite the Doctor's future regenerations forever. It's darker than you think. Down.